Welcome to the Unforgotten Project. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. What if a child told people he was afraid and then vanished without a trace?
Missing from the village of Greenwich 18 years ago on November 1st. Today, the community gathered for a candlelight vigil, calling for justice for Jaliek. Rainwalker's adoptive father reported him missing to the Cambridge Greenwich police in 2007. 18 years later, and the community is still moved to remember him. His biological mom was in attendance at Sunday's vigil.
I'm here to represent justice for Jaliek.
Jessica Von Guinness lived in the area at the time.
I heard about it just early in the morning when dumpsters were being searched. And I said, why? Why are you coming here? And I heard there's a missing child, and immediately...
The adults closest to him gave conflicting stories. Investigators uncovered inconsistencies, unanswered questions, and troubling timelines. Years passed, and despite searches, interviews, and even national attention, no one has been charged, and Jaliek Rainwalker has never been found. This is the heartbreaking mystery of Jaliek Rainwalker, a case that continues to raise difficult questions nearly 2 decades later. Jaliek was born January 7, 1995, in Washington County, New York. His early years were anything but stable. Reports indicate that he experienced neglect and instability before eventually entering the foster care system. Like many children in foster care, he moved between homes while waiting for a permanent family. Despite the hardships, those who knew Jaliek often described him as intelligent, energetic, and imaginative. He loved drawing and had a vivid imagination. Professionals who worked with him reportedly noted behavioral challenges that often were uncommon among children who have experienced trauma. Even so, many believed he simply wanted consistency, understanding, and a place to belong. That opportunity appeared to come when Stephen and Jocelyn Rainwalker adopted him. For a while, it looked as though Jaliek had finally found a forever family. But unfortunately, things would become much more complicated. As Jaliek grew older, reports emerged that life inside the Rainwalker household wasn't always peaceful. According to court documents and news reports, Jaliek struggled with behavioral issues. There were allegations that he had threatened family members and displayed aggressive behavior. At the same time, there were also reports that Jaliek himself felt unsafe and had spoken to counselors about his fears. These conflicting accounts have remained one of the most debated aspects of the case. Was Jaliek simply a troubled child trying to adjust after years of trauma? Or was something happening inside the home that investigators never fully uncovered? Those questions remain unanswered. In the months leading up to his disappearance, the family sought out help. Jaliek spent time in residential treatment programs designed for children with emotional and behavioral needs. By late 2007, discussions were reportedly underway about placing him back into foster care. Whether Jaliek knew that his living situation was about to change remains unclear. The events surrounding November 1st, 2007 remain incredibly confusing. Stephen Rainwalker later told investigators that Jaliek had spent the evening with him while Jocelyn was away. According to Stephen, they traveled between several locations before spending the night at his father's home in Greenwich, New York. He claimed that Jaliek went to bed that night. The following morning, Stephen said he woke up and discovered Jaliek missing. According to his account, the front door was unlocked. Jaliek was gone. He reportedly left behind his coat, warm clothing, medication, and nearly all of his belongings. Considering that the cold November temperatures in upstate New York, investigators found that the details especially concerning. If Jaliek had voluntarily ran away, why would he leave without basic necessities? Even more troubling, no verified sightings has ever confirmed that Jaliek left the property alive. Authorities immediately launched an extensive search. Police officers, search and rescue teams, tracking dogs, helicopters, volunteers, thousands of acres surrounding the property would be searched. Nearby woods, rivers, fields, abandoned buildings, you name it, it was carefully examined. And nothing. No footprints, no clothing, no backpack, no evidence explaining where Jaliek even went. Search dogs reportedly had difficulty establishing a trail beyond the home. The lack of physical evidence quickly caused investigators to question whether Jaliek had actually walked away on his own. As days turned into weeks, concern grew throughout the community. a 12-year-old child had seemingly vanished into thin air. As investigators dug deeper, they began examining Stephen's timeline. According to later statements from law enforcement, inconsistencies emerged regarding where Stephen had been during the hours surrounding Jaliek's disappearance. Investigators reportedly questioned parts of his account. Search warrants were executed, vehicles were examined, properties connected to the families were searched. Despite years of investigation, authorities have never announced finding forensic evidence proving that this was a homicide. Likewise, no one has ever been arrested in connection with Jaliek's disappearance. Stephen has consistently denied harming Jaliek. It is important to remember that despite public suspicion, no criminal charges have been filed, and he has maintained his innocence. One detail continues to haunt many who follow this case. According to investigators, Jaliek had reportedly told others before he disappeared that he was afraid. Some reports indicate he allegedly said if he disappeared, people should look into his adoptive father. Those reported statements have been discussed extensively over the years, though the exact wording varies depending on the source. Because Jaliek vanished before investigators could fully explore those comments, no one knows exactly what he meant, or whether those fears reflected an immediate danger or a broader emotional struggle. Regardless, they remain one of the most unsettling aspects of this investigation.
Jaliek was 12 years old when he was last seen at a Latham restaurant. He had been adopted by Stephen Kerr and his wife Jocelyn, but when problems developed, Jaliek was sent to live with what is called a respite family. The way Stephen Kerr told the story in 2007, the two spent the night in the Greenwich home of Kerr's parents, and the following morning, Jaliek was gone. Stephen Kerr was interviewed by us and, of course, by investigators, but claimed the deck was stacked against him.
I'm not privy to much of the investigation because the police are still working on the assumption, partially, that I did something wrong.
Jocelyn was pretty much forthright with us all the time. Stephen was hit or miss, but, then stopped communicating, hired an attorney. This is your kid that's missing. How do you just do that?
Kerr was quickly named a person of interest in what is a...
Over the years, the investigation has remained active. New York State Police have reportedly reviewed evidence. Tips continue to arrive from across the country. Age-progressed images have been released to show what Jaliek might look like as an adult. Investigators have also searched additional locations based on new leads. Unfortunately, none have produced definitive answers. In 2008, authorities publicly identified Jaliek Rainwalker as a person of interest in the investigation. That designation has remained significant because investigators have reportedly stated they believe someone knows more than what they've been sharing. Even so, identifying someone as a person of interest is not the same as charging them with the crime. Without significant evidence, prosecutors cannot move forward.
Regardless, could just walk away from his home and just try to live a normal life out there.
Bell claims after Jaliek's disappearance, his adoptive mother, Jocelyn McDonald, was cooperative at first, consenting to and passing a polygraph test. Her husband, Stephen Kerr, the last person to see Jaliek, never cooperated with the investigation, according to Bell, who still considers Kerr a person of interest. Bell's last communication with either parent?
Probably a month into the investigation, 5 years ago.
Jaliek had lived with his adoptive parents in this home on Raven Way in Greenwich. Just 3 months after Chief Bell says the parents stopped being cooperative, they sold this home and moved to Rupert, Vermont. We visited their Vermont home today. No one answered the door, though smoke was coming from the chimney and commotion could be heard.
As many long-term missing person cases, numerous theories have emerged. One theory suggests Jaliek ran away. Supporters point to behavioral struggles and uncertainty about returning to foster care. However, investigators have questioned whether a 12-year-old could successfully disappear without money, proper clothing, or leaving any trace. Another theory is that Jaliek was met with foul play sometime during the night or early morning. Supporters of this theory often point to the inconsistencies in witness statements, the lack of evidence showing Jaliek if he actually left on foot or not, and investigators name is Stephen as a person of interest. Still, no physical evidence has been publicly released proving exactly what happened. A third possibility is that someone else entirely is involved. Despite years of investigation, authorities have never ruled out every impossibility. Without new evidence, each theory remains speculative. While much attention has focused on the investigation itself, it's important not to lose sight of what matters most: a disappeared child. Jaliek has missed birthdays, holidays, graduations, the chance to grow into adulthood. Somewhere there is still an unanswered question about what happened during the final known hours. Cases involving missing children rarely stop affecting families. Every holiday carries uncertainty. Every birthday becomes another painful reminder. And every year makes finding answers even more urgent. So where the case stands today, the National Center on Missing and Exploited Children and the New York State Police continue to keep this case open. Investigators have reportedly encouraged anyone with information, even information that may seem insignificant, to come forward. Sometimes the smallest overlooked details become the breakthrough that changes everything. Someone may remember a conversation, a vehicle, an unusual event, or something that didn't seem important at that time. After nearly 2 decades, that information could finally provide the answers investigators have been seeking. The disappearance of Jaliek remains one of New York's most troubling unsolved mysteries. A vulnerable 12-year-old child vanished. No confirmed sightings. No definitive evidence explaining what happened. Only unanswered questions. As always, it's important to distinguish between verified facts, investigative findings, and public speculation. While authorities have publicly identified a person of interest, no one has been convicted or charged in Jaliek's disappearance, and the investigation remains open. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments section. What do y'all think happened to Jaliek?